Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us tonight on episode 29, season 6 of the Standoff with Brad and Richie here on New Zealand Sport Radio on Facebook and YouTube throughout the season. No Paul tonight, so we're going to go wild with me trying to figure out how to do this stuff. But evening, Richie. Regular season's over now with what I thought was a pretty one-sided final round with the Warriors' horrible loss feeling like the only close match with several blowouts dominating the week. How are you, and what do you think of the round?
Yeah, hey, Brad. Did not think much of the round at all, to be fair. I guess nothing went in our favour. But, hey, that's life. We get another opportunity this week. I'm pretty excited for that. So,
yeah,
hopefully it's not the last.
Fingers crossed. So while we're here live on Wednesdays at 8 p.m, you can also catch our show at your convenience on iHeartRadio and Spotify. Just remember to search for New Zealand Sport Radio. As always, we're going to cover everything you need to know on the week that was rugby league, including our top stories of the week, a review of the round 27 matches. We'll then take a look at the ladder, our fantasy teams for the final time, and the tipping comp. We'll then stop and answer questions from you guys as well as questions we're prepared for each other. And then we'll preview finals week 1 and make our picks. So remember to send us comments and questions throughout the show. I see Jackos and Simon are here, even guys. We may as well jump straight into top stories, mate.
Sounds good.
It wasn't really too much, which was surprising due to it being finals week. But the first one I thought I'd throw in here was the Bulldogs. They kicked off the finals season with the news that they've extended Cam Serraldo and Phil Gould until the end of 2031. They're also in negotiations to extend Stephen Crichton until 2031 as well. A lot of confidence in the coach and a lot of confidence that Phil Gould will still be alive in 6 years' time,
mate. Yeah, I had a feeling you'd say that too, Brad. But yeah, and why not? You know, for the most part, this year they've gone really well. They might have had some hairy moments post bringing Galvin in, but I mean that's still a play for the future. I think he's still super young, so I think they're gonna. You can see what they're trying to build there, and I think they'll be a strong team for the next few years for sure. So why not solidify all the key pieces?
Yeah, I think it's a smart idea from the Dogs. As Jacko said, likely to be a divorce at the Dogs around 2028. That's the thing. You can make these big deals. It doesn't mean it's going to be. If they start to shit the bed, you might see some people go. Gould is the puppet master there, so I assume he would have to decide to fire himself. I'm not sure how it works, but I think it's a great move from them right now with how they're going. So we'll just see how it goes moving forward. We just briefly touched on it before we jumped on live, but the Warriors confirmed that they did request a 5:05 kickoff for the finals match this week to avoid their match clashing with the All Blacks. But it was rejected. Cam George did speak about it in a couple of interviews and said, basically, it is what it is, but he felt it was a missed opportunity from the NRL to get more eyes on the product on this side of the Tasman. I kind of said the same thing to you there. I'm very different. I know you are a follower of the Union Code a bit better than me of years to go. I didn't watch the All Blacks on the weekend. I was watching the NRL and I had like an updater on my phone keeping track of the game. But I think the only... Yeah, I think the NRL would have made the change if last week's game was this week and it was being played at Eden Park. I think that's the only time they do. But yeah, I know it's a big deal for some and not as much for others. They're only playing South Africa, mate. It's not a big game. It is what it is.
The All Blacks are taking a back seat this week, that's for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, at least the Warriors try. You can only ask. And it's we know when it comes to finals, the guys that pay all the money are the TV deals, so they dictate the terms. I know I said Keith here, even Keith, and Simon also said it's not good for a New Zealand audience. So it's been doing the Australian TV audience accommodating. Yeah. They don't really care about us over here, but it kind of spits in the face of all the talk they've done about how they want to grow it. They want to grow it in America, want to grow it everywhere. It would make more sense. You will lose a couple, but depends how good the Warriors are going, mate. As I said to you, at home, the game will kick off just after halftime. If the Warriors are still in the fight or looking at their ahead, even people won't change to the All Blacks. But if they're getting pantsed, that's when you're going to lose people anyway. And even if the All Blacks weren't playing, a lot of people might change. I don't want to throw her under the bus, but I live with someone that didn't watch the end of the Warriors game of the weekend. Yeah, all they can do is ask. It is what it is, though, mate. Unless you want to add anything else to it.
No, that's all good.
So we'll go into Knights time, mate. Congratulations, first and foremost, to the Knights winning the coveted wooden spoon. I was very happy with that because it stopped you getting a prediction.
Hey, mate, that's last equal, surely. Last equal.
But there has been noise. We talked about Blake Green wanting the gig. There has been talk that if he gets the head coach role, he's going to be looking at bringing Cameron Smith in as an assistant, which is an interesting take. There has been noise also, though, that the Knights have reached out to Michael Cheika to see if he's interested in the job. I also heard rumours today that there could be a Cheika-Green combo. But also, as Jacko has just said, prediction, Holbrook will get the Knights gig. He is apparently being interviewed next Wednesday for the gig. Out of everyone mentioned there, he would be the one I'd go for out of the three. Cheika hasn't really had a lot of experience in NRL, or no experience in the NRL, very little experience in rugby league in general. Green is very, pardon the pun, very green as a coach. And Holbrook has been there and done that and may have been more regarded as a coach if he wasn't coaching the Titans. So he would have more experience in that. So I'm probably edging towards what Jacko said and think he's going to be the one that gets the nod.
Yeah. I don't know what I would prefer. I think someone with a rugby league brain like Cam Smith would be a nice ace up your sleeve as an assistant, and doesn't necessarily have to be somebody experienced in a head coach role like we've seen in the past couple of years, with Serraldo and Webby. But yeah, I don't know. Whatever happens, but they need a shake-up, obviously, having just got the spoon.
And Keith commented saying Holbrook would be a good choice, club builder, Newcastle one in position to gamble and unknowns. Yeah, they're not really in that position. They've, got two players taking up a lot of their salary cap. You don't really want to be wasting their potential that they have on guys that don't know what they're doing. So we'll wait and see. They need to make a decision sooner rather than later before they want to have a guy in that can prep for preseason. So we'll probably get news about it, I'd say, if not next week, the week after, maybe. If they're interviewing him next Wednesday, they wouldn't make a decision immediately, I would assume. So maybe the week after. But yeah, when we know, we'll talk about it more. Next one, mate, Nico Hines. He was charged with a grade 2 dangerous conduct for a hip drop, but has avoided suspension after his charge was downgraded after the Doggies doctor advised the injury wasn't severe. What's your take on it? First and foremost, I didn't think it was a hip drop, so I think a grade 2 was a bit too far anyway. But I know there's been a lot of talk in the media about the doctors and, what happens if it was, I think the one I heard was Roosters Rabbits, where they're clubs that don't particularly like each other. Would you technically throw the other team under the bus and give them some dodgy news on the doctor front? And it kind of goes back to charging people for the injury rather than the action, which I'm not a fan of.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. And yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it was worthy of a grade 2. Having seen it, I thought it was a bit harsh. So I think we've reached the wrong, or we've reached the right spot anyway with him avoiding suspension. I think it would have been a bit stink having him rubbed out for an elimination game based off of that.
Yeah, well, especially it'll be the only game in finals this year too, so it'd be a shame to see him miss out. But yeah, it is what it is. Hopefully, it just doesn't become a thing where everyone's getting suspended due to the length of time the opponents are off.
Yeah,
but we'll see. We'll kind of go with the Sharks still. Andrew Abdo, he had a couple of things. I forgot to add it here, but we'll add it for shits and giggles after this part anyway. But he said he's spoken that the NRL leadership team will be reviewing their finals policy in the off-season, particularly around the minimum standard requirements for a ground to be allowed to host a finals game. This has all come to head about the Sharks. So meaning the Sharks' home ground may no longer be fit for finals, because I think they were talking about like how many people are going to each game, and then there's like 15,000 I think you can get to Shark Park. I feel a bit on the fence on it, because 2 years ago when they were trying to say that the Go Media Stadium wasn't going to be fit for finals and they were going to move the game to Eden Park, I was against it. But that is a ground that holds 25,000 at least.
Generally, if it's a finals game, throw extra seating in, and it's a fantastic atmosphere. That's not comparable to Shark Park.
I've never been to Shark Park, but it does look very small.
Me neither. So. But yeah, they don't get the same buzz we do for finals matches.
No,
we don't get many home ones,
no,
So when
we don't get many.
We go hard when we get one.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll see what happens. He also talked about the 360 rugby comp and said that there'll be severe consequences for any player that tries to break his contract to join it. He said he lost me at his comments about how they take contracts very seriously in the NRL, which I think he doesn't know how to read the room, because that's the furthest from it. But they obviously don't want a Sunnyville situation again. So yeah, we'll just wait and see what happens there. But at the moment, you can break a contract whenever you want. We've had multiple already this year alone. So we'll just see what happens there. Anything you want to add on the 360 thing? I know I can't remember who it was. It was a former union guy. Might have been Horan, I'm not sure. Said he doesn't even think it's going to get off the ground anyway. But
yeah, hopefully not, if it's going to pose a threat, pinching our NRL stars.
If it weakens other teams around us and not us, it's okay, mate. It's fine.
It might weaken us.
Yeah, true. I can think of a couple of players they could take from us, mate, but we'll leave it there. Not really a big news thing, but Kieran Foran has put his hand up to play for the Kiwis at the end of this year if Stacey Jones wants him. I think it's good timing with some injuries that happened in the weekend. Pull Foran out of retirement. But
I lost you.
Yeah, I saw that. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I think it'd be a good way to end his career if he gets the opportunity. No.
Another Stacey Jones, another Stacey Jones story from last year. Oh yeah, I think we could do worse than picking him, mate. Bit of experience against. I think Samoa and Tonga are going to be some pretty fierce rivals this year. So, having an old tough dog like that, we could do worse.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's been playing all right, within reason for the team he's been in. So yeah, he wouldn't be out of place there for one last go. So it'd be good to see. Then I've got a bunch of retirements, mate. All the oldies. Mark Nichols from the Dolphins announced his retirement from the NRL. Not bad, scoring a try. There's been a little bit of noise that he might jump to Super League, but it hasn't been confirmed. And then Jordan Rapana is in Super League at the moment. He's announced his retirement. Second time, I think. Hasn't he retired already before? Then came back. And then Kenny Bromwich from the Dolphins as well, also announced his retirement. So yeah, they've all had some decent runs. See what happens in their future. I don't know if I see any of them becoming coaches or media, but we'll see what happens. Best of luck to them and the rest of their decisions and what they're going to do. Next one, mate, the Dragons announced Michael Innes as an assistant coach. So if it wasn't that long ago, mate, he was apparently going to be the Seagulls head coach, and now he's left the Seagulls completely and jumped to the Dragons. I don't really have an opinion on it, to be honest, mate. But seems fine.
That's right.
Yeah. This one is the last one. I thought NRL's announced Teddy Swims as the grand final entertainment act.
Oh yeah, I don't today.
I don't care one way or the other. I don't feel they they don't even show us the entertainment act on television, do we? It's really just for the live crowd.
A little bit. Yeah, I just dial in for the game anyway.
Yeah, it's not halftime show of Super Bowl type production.
I watch all the games and then do stuff in between.
Yeah. The part I wanted to bring it up for, though, is Peter V'landys announced it, and he decided to have a dig at AFL again. Because AFL announced Snoop Dogg as their entertainment. And he didn't remember Snoop Dogg's name.
Yeah, that's better.
He didn't remember Snoop Dogg's name, though. Called him a Labrador or poodle. And he said, I'm going to butcher it. So I'm going to get his actual quote up. Because I looked at it and went, that's jealous X all over the place.
Yeah, childish.
This is great for live television. This is why Paul's not here. He's sick of us being unprofessional, mate.
Come on, mate. We're in Sean Johnson's slot.
I know he's doing it here, and the bastard, he's doing a live show tonight. Which I saw him and went, you know what you're doing, you dog. So yeah, he said, here's his quote. It was on the Today Show as well. He said, we saw what the FLA got. What's he called? Labrador or poodle? I'm not sure. All I know is that it is dog act. So we had to get better than that. We actually got a vocalist. None of this doof stuff. This bloke can actually sing. Teddy Swims will be very popular. He will beat the poodle. Like,
wow.
What the hell? I don't know, mate. It just, I feel if we focus more on the NRL instead of focusing on this goddamn beef he's got with the AFL, they might actually be able to do some stuff, you know. But it is what it is. As I said, and Simon said, I think Snoop Dogg is a bigger artist. Snoop Dogg, I feel like you would like it's different over here because they don't put the production value in it. They don't show it on television. The Super Bowl does a halftime show and goes crazy to get the people that don't give a shit about the sport to watch. You know, you'll have half a room of people that want to watch the Super Bowl, the other half that want to watch the halftime show. But you don't televise it, so no one gives a shit. So, yeah, I don't know. Until you actually televising the halftime show for the viewers at home, it doesn't matter who you get. It'll be great, I guess. But yeah, and Simon said, I think the AFL was ranged by a bit of people who have instructed their officials not to insult it and just focus on your own sport. Yeah. So that's basically AFL's rule. Like, they don't care about having a slinging match with the NRL. They focus on their own sport. I think V'landys kind of needs to do the same.
Yeah.
But yeah, he hasn't stopped since he got the gig, so I don't see him changing his mind now. But yeah, I don't listen to that much music anymore anyway. I'm a podcast guy. So yeah, and Jacko says, who cares? It's for the content, mate. You growled us last week for talking about stuff. So
yeah, but I agree. Who cares? Teddy
and Simon said, doesn't matter. Yeah, AFL does show the full show in New Zealand on the TV, and it's quite good from Simon. I don't watch AFL, so I don't know. So we'll go to signings, mate. We've got a stack of extensions, but we have one new deal.
He's doing Paul's job.
Yeah, sorry, Jacko. We'll get back
Sorry,
on track.
sorry.
Signings, mate. Only new signing announced was that the Knights have officially confirmed that Trey Mooney from the Raiders has signed with them on a 4-year deal. Good signing for the Knights. I think he's a talented youngster.
He wasn't getting the chances, hey, so
No.
now he will.
And then the extensions, I'll rattle them all off, mate, and then I'll get your opinion at the end. Sam Stonestreet is extended with the Sharks until the end of 2026. Blake Brayley's extended with the Sharks until the end of 2030. And KL Iro has extended with the Sharks until the end of 2029. So whole lot for the Sharks.
Good.
Xavier Coates is extended with the Storm until the end of 27. Carraz is extended with the Bulldogs till the end of 28. Taylor May originally rejected a 3-year deal. He has now accepted a 2-year deal from the Tigers until the end of 2027. And then announced today, Corey Jensen's extended with the Broncos until 27.
All good.
All good extensions. Still waiting to hear about the Metcalf situation on this side, but nothing as of yet.
You missed out on your boy Stonestreet, though.
Yeah, well, he said he was coming to the Warriors, mate. He was keen. Obviously not. Would have been nice, a bit of speed. Anything
like
else you want to add?
Yeah, like he said, KL Iro would have been real good.
Yeah,
would have been worth chucking some dollars at.
I would have thrown some money at him, but I don't know. He seems pretty happy at the Sharks. I guess we just got to wait another failed finals and then go, mate. You want to get to the second round of finals? Come over here.
We have to do it too first.
We have to get there too. Injuries, there were heaps, but I kind of brought it down to just some major ones. Biggest one, Jerome Hughes from Storm, fractured wrist / arm, gone for finals and internationals. So very disappointing for him, for the Storm and for the Kiwis.
Yeah, 100%. I'll keep a little bit in the tank. I'm going to ask you about it later in questions.
Yeah. Next one, Warriors. Rocco Berry, dislocated shoulder, needs surgery, gone for the year. Was quite a bad one, apparently. They couldn't pop it back in at the game, and apparently they needed 9 doctors or something to get it sorted at the hospital.
He had to share an ambulance, right, with the cameraman.
With the cameraman that got his leg slashed open by Hopewadi.
Yeah.
I talked about it in my review this week. Yeah. I gave him my my Warrior to improve, which I felt was a bit stink because he only played 5 minutes. But it's just
he needs to improve his physical condition.
Yeah, we talked about it, I think, a while ago, and you asked me how much chances do we give him, and I said, let's see how we go. How many games he got? 2 games in 5 minutes, and since the last one, I feel for him, but there's got to be a serious talk with McFadden and all that about, do we keep persevering with this kid or do we just Ben Henry it and just go, shit, we just have to move on. You never want to do that to a player. He's got potential, but as we were talking before we jumped on, you can't basically plan your 17 for a game knowing that you might need someone to cover that spot because he's always going to get injured. 2023 he got through most of that year pretty unscathed. So 2026, if he could do that again, these kind of conversations will go away. But at the moment, it's just frustrating. Probably way more frustrating for him than it is for us. But
100%.
At least he could have done was make the tackle and dislocate his shoulder, though, man. Come on. Honestly. Next one, Marcelo Montoya from the Doggies did his ankle, and that's tackle from Nico Hines. They've just said he'll be back for finals at some stage. If it's not this week, maybe there next week or the week after. Then the hammer mate from the Dolphins, suspected MCL, gone rest of the year, including internationals. Devastated. We'll talk about it when we get to that game, mate. He was chasing Marky Mark's try-scoring record down.
Yeah.
And then that happened. Devastating for him to end like that. Mitch Kenny from the Panthers, mate, brought a little bit of flutter to my heart seeing that he was out. Hamstring, he's going to be week to week, which won't matter. This is the last week the Panthers are in the comp anyway. So
yeah, poor bugger, he's gone for the season.
Gone for the season. And then we had 2 HIAs. So Ryan Pappenhausen from Storm, Bronson Cherry from the Bulldogs. Fouled HIAs, 11-day stand-downs. They're still alive in there because they have, and teams they have second chances if their team happen to lose while they're gone. But that's not what you want going into the first week of finals anyway.
That Dogs Storm game's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Spoilers for when we do talk about our tips, mate. I flipped coins basically on it because I wasn't sure. So we'll go to Naughty Boys. We've got 2, mate. Jamie Humphreys, grade 2 dangerous contact. He pled guilty and has got 2 weeks. So that's going to be round 1 and 2 next year, unless they decide to include preseason for him. And then Nelson Asafa Solomona, grade 2 careless fight tackle, 3 weeks. So he might be lucky. He might be able to use them all up in the finals. Not good for his team, but potentially good for the Kiwis. But yeah, do you think they're going to have a talk at the Storm about potentially getting rid of his big salary since he's spending all his time suspended?
I would not be surprised, mate, because I think the same thing happened last year with him. Getting suspended right before finals.
He got ruled out of finals completely, I think, or did it? He got back for the grand final, didn't he?
Something like that. But he's got to channel it in the right way. He's a massive human, but you can't. It's just costing his team.
Yeah. I don't know about him. I'm very happy he doesn't play for the Warriors, mate. Imagine how many weeks he'd be getting for us.
Oh, mate.
So we'll go to NRLW now. That was all the news we had. We'll answer. Paul's not here. Keith said, if the Wild's don't win, who do you guys want to win the premiership? Raiders for me.
Raiders.
Yeah. And then that's just so Simon keeps watching our show as our loyal listener. But no, I don't want to see the Panthers win it again. I don't want to see the Broncos win it.
I don't want Broncos anywhere near it.
Yeah, I don't think the Sharks could win it. And even if they did, I don't want Adam Fanor-Blake to bloody win a premiership his first year after leaving us.
Don't want the Dogs to win it.
Don't want the Doggies to win it. Don't want Melbourne to win it. So yeah, Raiders are I actually like the Raiders. So
Raiders, but yeah. I think out of the rest, Dogs would be the next least evil.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, and Simon said if I was told we were going to win the minor premiership at the start of the season, I would have taken them. Yeah. Yeah, that's not a bad shout. But yeah, NRLW, I forgot, mate. I thought it was the final round. But there's actually another round this week.
There's one more round. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Roosters defeated the Raiders 26-14. Cowboys defeated the Dragons 42-14. Bulldogs defeated Sharks 24-14. Broncos defeated Warriors in their last home game 26-6. Knights defeated Titans 28-22. And Eels defeated Tigers 38-4. Did you watch the Warriors game, mate?
I did. It was frustrating. We didn't really deal with Gale Broughton very well. I thought Gale Broughton dominated it, which was, for me, that was the best part about it. Yeah, that was the best part about it, was seeing the quality she's going to bring to us next year. But, gee, as a playmaker, she was just tearing our edge up. And disappointing, we lost Maliepo to injury as well, so she's gone for the final round. So disappointing all around, but the girls do show heart even when they lose. So their first season, I just throw all my support behind them.
I was expecting a lot worse, to be honest. Broncos are second on the table for a reason, so I was expecting maybe we'd see a 40 or 50, which they've done to other teams this year. So 26-6. I was reasonably happy with, especially with what you said. The errors, and they had a few chances to add some more points, so they did make a game of it. And I think Jacko said it a lot on our shows in years past. It's not about winning the premiership this year. It's actually teaching them how to bloody play the game. And I think there's a lot of experience they're going to get out of this season to actually put them in the frame. I wish I had this type of hindsight at the beginning of the year when I predicted them on Raw and Hammer's show to win the comp this year. So it was a bit overzealous, man. I was excited about
man. And Vana Lautiti is something special too.
Mate, that try she got was impressive.
And just her defense coming up out of the line, forcing mistakes more than once, 2 or 3 times. She's an animal.
Yeah, and Jaco said, Wahini's game was a good watch, just lacking polish but building nicely. Yeah, and I think everyone's expectations within the club and the coaching staff was they're not coming out of the gates becoming contenders straight away. They're building. So there's not extra pressure from like the owners saying, we need to win this this year or you're gone type thing. So I think they've got understanding on what it's going to take to build them to be a consistent club in the women's league. So more for it. And Jacko said Lauatiti just needs to get fit and she'll be unstoppable. Yeah. She is. I think that will come. It is always a different beast when you think a lot of these guys aren't full-time professionals as well. They don't get paid to spend every day in the gym. So, but yeah, they'll get there. I think for next year, you'll see a lot of them in like tip-top shape, I'm sure. But this round, the final round, mate, first place Roosters are playing 4th place Sharks. 7th place Eels are playing the 8th place Bulldogs. 2nd place Broncos playing 3rd place Cowboys. So we got 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3 in the final round. It's not a bad way to go. 6th place Titans versus the 11th place Raiders. 12th place Tigers versus the 9th place Warriors. So hopefully the Warriors can end their season on a win. And then the 5th place Knights are against the 10th place Dragons. And the Warriors game's on Sunday, so I'll definitely be watching that because pretty sure that will be before the only boys game on Sunday. So should be sweet. So we'll get into the round now, mate. Kicking off on Thursday when our whole world started to collapse. We needed a Storm win. I was all amped, and then the Broncos did the business, mate, defeating the Storm 30-14.
Yeah, they did. Did they ever? Was 4 tries to 3 for the Broncos. Reece Walsh had 2. Brendan Piakora and Josiah Karapani for the Storm. Ali Katoa, Will Warbrick, and Nick Meaney.
Will Warbrick was trying his best to get me my leading try scorer in the last game. I was so bad. I was so far off. Broncos were on another level here. Had some great attacking moments, but I was more impressed with their defense. They contained the Storm for most of the night and forced the Storm into playing high-risk footy, which worked in their favor. The Storm were making very unstorm-like decisions. Admittedly, we'll talk about it when we talk about them. The exit of their halfback doesn't help that, but unfortunately, Broncos are quickly climbing up the ranks as a premiership contender for me.
Yes, unfortunately, they're doing that for me too. And they were good, man. They were really good. I think hindsight's coming through because obviously I tipped Storm, but I tipped Storm thinking that they never lose back-to-back games. And I think it's been 2.5, 3 years since they had, but they chose this night to do it. But it was the Broncos that put them under all that pressure, and Reece Walsh, played out of his skin, the 40-20s, try assist, couple of tries. That might be one of the finest ones I've seen him pull out, the little fella, unfortunately. But they're looking deadly, man. I think off the back of that and the form they're in, they earned that spot.
Yeah, they did, unfortunately. Your thoughts on the Storm?
I don't know what it was, Brad. I think they had less to play for than the Broncos did. The Broncos kind of was playing for that spot in the top 4. The Storm were going to finish where they finished either way, they're playing the Bulldogs in the finals. So, but knowing Storm sides and knowing Bellamy, that's not the attitude they would have been taking into this game. They would have been wanting to get into some form after arresting some people the previous week and take it into the finals. But yeah, they were just not Storm like at all. Like a lot of errors, very clunky, and just to me didn't seem in the same ballpark for most of the night.
Yeah, we've said it multiple times. They were just unstorm-like. The early exit of Hughes didn't help, but they offered very little in terms of attack. They had Wishart on the bench, so he was playing 7 like he has when Hughes wasn't there. So
yeah,
it goes against your plans, but you still had a guy that was doing that job, so it should have balanced it out. And I just expected more out of them after the embarrassing game they had the week before and Bellamy's milestone. I thought they'd really want to make up for it. But they offered very little in attack, were way too error-prone and ill-disciplined, and just looked out of ideas like Pep's little kickoff to himself that he tried to do, and things like that. Stuff you just would never see them do. Going into the finals with back-to-back losses takes a serious dent in their favourite status with me. I kind of have had them ahead of everybody. The last 2 weeks I've got the wobbles on them. I'm not sure. I won't go too deep into that because I know your questions about that. But Paul's not here, so we won't give us the fantasy leaders. But who was your player to stand out?
Went Sam Healy, actually, man. I was really impressed with him.
Wrong game.
Oh.
Sam Healy doesn't play in this.
To the Warriors.
That's a spoiler.
The Warriors one today.
That's a spoiler.
I already talked about Walsh. That's why. I don't want to give him any more.
Yeah, I went with Walsh too. He reduced his errors and was just taking control of the Broncos' attack. So, yeah, we'll move on here.
Next game.
Yeah, that's a spoiler. Interesting. We both picked Warriors for this, even though they lost. Seagulls defeating the... So, yeah, 27-26, Seagulls over the Warriors, Matt.
2 depressing games to talk about off the bat. 5 tries apiece. So, we're keeping up with them in that department. For Manly, Hopewadi had 2. Jake Simpkin, I don't agree with Jake Simpkin's try, but yeah, we'll talk about that. Luke Brooks and Ethan Bullimore. For the Waz, we had the try right off the kickoff for Shea Harris. Dallin, Chance, Sam Healy, and Dallin got another one right at the end there.
Yeah, and difference being that field goal. But yeah, it started off in the worst way for Manly with that try from kickoff, but they turned things around pretty quickly. You know, the next drive they went for the 40-20, got a try straight away, and they basically did the bare minimum to get the win, but they targeted the Warriors' right edge and were rewarded. To be honest, an absolute bludger of a game with both sides doing their best to throw it away. I think it was 30 errors in total. But Manly got the job done and sent DCA out with a win. Will be interesting to see how the side looks in 26. Jake Simpkin try, mate. I didn't think it was a try.
It wasn't a try. How was that a try?
There's a few dodgy calls in there. She's not as observant in the game of league as we are, but my lovely lady who's downstairs right now, she watched this game or most of it, and then later on in the week, or in the weekend, it was the Chans going for the kick where he got taken out by 2 players, and they said it was all fair and play. And then it was in another game later on where a guy just nudged with his hip a little bit going for the ball, and it was a penalty. And she asked me why it was different, and I couldn't answer the question. But the Warriors didn't deserve to win with how they were playing, to be fair. And there was also a blocker penalty should have been in place for the field goal to be leaving my Warriors hat on for a little bit longer. But yeah, both teams are atrocious. But yeah, your thoughts on the Seagulls?
Yeah, that's exactly what makes it most disappointing is that they weren't anywhere near their best either.
Yeah.
They had the shocking start off the kickoff, obviously, but then they just turned the screws and pretty much dominated the next period, like you said, with the 40-20. They were picking apart our right edge, as that's been happening quite a bit lately. But Hopewadi was cashing in a bit there. But I think it was just Manly weren't great either. That was the only thing that kept it from blowing out. I feel like they made a lot of mistakes as well, but unfortunately they get the win. It turns out even if we did, it wouldn't have mattered anyway. So would have been nice to take some form in though.
Yeah, and your thoughts on the Warriors?
I think we were saying it during the game. Maybe that extremely fast start might have been the worst thing, because it's like we buttoned off for the next 20 minutes after that, and we fought back into the game as we've done. People say we're one of the more resilient sides this year, and it's for a reason. We haven't really been blown out too many times, even in our losses. We're not in great form, and it's not good signs heading into the finals. But yeah, there were some positives. Obviously, Aaron Clark was massive. You'd be happy if you had him in your fantasy. Sam Healy as well. Thought was really good standing in for Wade Egan. He was a real standout.
Yeah, real disappointing effort from the Warriors here. Perhaps it was knowing that a top 4 spot was gone and scoring that try in 9 seconds threw the mindset of this game out the window. But they were a mess. They dropped the ball 14 times. The defense left plenty to be desired. Showed spirit, as you said, coming back. But it was too little too late. Just need a complete 180 if they even have a chance to get Spinner this week. Real disappointing. As I said, the missus, she left before Dallin's final try. She was they kept dropping the ball and she threw her shit, man, and stormed upstairs. And then
I don't blame her.
I had texted her and said I won, and then she came back down and said, "What do you mean we lost by 1?" I was like, we scored a try right at the end, mate. But yeah, hopefully it's a wake-up call. I don't know what you say. As Jago said, was awful, Manly awful, ref awful, bunker awful, bloody hard watch. Yeah,
it was a hard watch.
I was already in a foul mood from the night before, knowing that a top 4 spot was gone. But watching that, it was just a nightmare. But yeah, anything else you want to add about Sam Healy, since you already spoiled that he was your player?
No, he's just so dynamic, man. We were talking before we went on air, how we try and find a spot in the 17 for him. He just seems like he could be a difference maker at any given time, and it would be a nice 1-2 punch when Wade Egan goes off. But I think Webby likes having Tamati Martin there as your utility. But yeah, going into the week 1 of finals, I feel tempted to play Healy in that 14 spot.
Yeah, especially with the Panthers losing Mitch Key and Healy punch at hooker would have been just the ticket. But we'll talk about the team naming. That's not what Webby's done. But yeah, Healy needs to be in the 17. He's so dynamic. I didn't go with him though. I actually went with Aaron Clark. It was his first time this year. He's played 80 minutes, which was something everyone always said. He can't play 80. But this was the first chance they gave it to him, and he didn't lose any of his impact at the back end of the game. He was still tuning out the meters. As you said, great in your fantasy team. He helped me out. I wish I made him my captain.
Yeah.
I think I was going to bring it up. They had the high scorers of the total points scored by players in fantasy. He was number 3 for the year. It was Taylor May. Yeah. I can't remember who. I think Ben Haas was number 2. Then it was Aaron Clark. Terrell May, not Taylor May. So yeah, I picked him. I thought he was fantastic out there, and yeah, Never been happier to be proven wrong about a signing in some time. I thought he'd do okay. I kind of said he was Jazz but cheaper. I think Jazz wishes he was like,
he's been that and a whole lot more.
Yeah, he's hopefully that continues for the Kiwis at the end of this year and for the Warriors in 26. And for the finals. Shit, we're still playing, aren't we?
Yeah.
Next game on Friday, mate. Roosters defeating Rabbits 36-6.
6 tries to 1 for the Roosters. Marky Mark had 3. Daniel Tupou, Connor Watson, and Angus Crichton. And for the Rabbitohs, babyface Ashton Ward.
Yeah, their Make-A-Wish kid's still doing so well. But yeah, dominant display from the Roosters here, and it wasn't even their best, with plenty of errors preventing them from piling on the points. Very dangerous attacking side, though, breaking the line repeatedly and having so many strike weapons at their disposal. Mark and Daniel on the wings. Tedesco can break them apart as well. Then you got the Naff White, Crichton, you name it. They got guys there that will rip you to shreds. And their defense looked great as well. The Rabbits are kind of been in a low at the moment, but holding them to 6 is still a good nod. They're in a very rich vein of form right now and could be one of those teams that causes problems in the finals. Your thoughts on the Roosters?
Yeah, they're very dangerous. Hey, even like you said, Brad, not at their best. 10-6 at halftime, still pretty even. They only completed it 69%, so they weren't perfect with the ball, but they're just that funny kind of team where they don't need to be perfect for 80 minutes. They can rip you apart in a half. Just with Marky Mark, Tedesco, they're just like you listed them off, Brad. Too many strike weapons in that team, mate. If they turn it on, they can go with anybody in the final series, but just whether or not they can do it for 4 games in a row.
Just makes us look so foolish at the beginning of the year when we were making fun of Paul for mixing up his teams, mate, and he said the Roosters would do well and we were laughing at him. He might want to keep that mistake in his predictions, I think. Your thoughts on the Rabbits?
Yeah, just outclassed here. They just couldn't contain the Roosters' weapons for long enough. 43 missed tackles. They conceded 8 line breaks. They got a nice try. Ashton Ward's try was a nice one, feeding off Jai Gray, who's a positive for them this year, but they've just had a tough year with the injuries, and it wasn't a nice way to sign off against their rival, but yeah, just outclassed.
Yeah, they did try their best. I'll give them that, but they just couldn't withstand the pressure from the Roosters. Without some key players, they kind of couldn't create any scoring chances. And yeah, as you said, they're just outclassed. Time to reset and hopefully get rid of the injury curse before 26. We have the rule in place, so I assume you stuck by it, but who was your player that stood out?
I stuck with the rule, mate. Marky Mark.
Yeah, Mark Nawaka Nitawase.
Very good.
I'm getting better. I'm gonna have to learn how to say his bloody name properly because I feel like he's gonna feature every week. He was fantastic again. It wasn't even his best game. There was a few silly errors, but he can create so many scoring opportunities for them. And fantastic. Would have been a lot of money if someone put money on him at the beginning of the year to be the leading try scorer. But yeah, fantastic. And I'm sure we're going to see some more crazy tries from him before the year's done. Next game, first game on Saturday, mate. Panthers defeating Dragons 40-20.
And it was 7 tries to 4 in the Panthers' favour. For the Panthers, Tommy Jenkins, Paul Alamotti had 2. Casey McLean, Nathan Cleary, Isaiah Papali'i, and Lindsay Smith. For the Dragons, Kyle Flanagan, Corey Allen, Tyrell Sloan, and Jaden Sewer.
Yeah, another sound victory for Penrith. A bit patchy at times, but they just stuck to their pressure game that we all know and beat the Dragons down. Did switch off a little bit at the beginning and end of the second half, but the damage was already done, to be blunt, and a very tough side to face as they live and breathe finals footy. And they do have me worried this week. All the fake bravado I've been putting on about the Warriors being unstoppable in this game this week. They are a scary team to face, and yeah, they're not the perfect Panthers we've seen the last few years, but they just know how to win, which is yeah, real pain in the ass when you have to play them. Your thoughts on the Panthers?
Yeah, they obviously a strong win. Didn't really get the outcome I wanted out of the game, which was hopefully a couple of key injuries, maybe a Cleary. But no, I mean, in all seriousness, I think if you want to be the best, you're going to have to beat the best anyway. And they're coming into some nice form. They weren't perfect, like you said, Brad. You know, I think they made double the amount of errors the Dragons did. So
Yeah,
I think the Dragons definitely tried their hardest. But you know, the last sort of month of footy, they've looked a tired squad, I think, and yeah, I that's kind of what I was expecting, that kind of scoreline, and having to come up against that kind of Panthers in week one.
yeah, and your thoughts on the Dragons?
Yeah, I kind of wove that into one a bit, but yeah, I thought it felt like they tried hard and they put as best a foot forward as they could, but just man for man against that Panthers team this time of year, they couldn't go with. Obviously, at halftime was 22-6, so they're already down a fair bit. So they didn't give up, and they scored a couple of really classy tries actually towards the end there. But yeah, no, better luck next year, Dragons. Brad's
Hopefully
smiling
not.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest, the Dragons didn't actually play that bad. They just let the Panthers get the jump early and didn't ice some of their opportunities. Better showed fight again though. They tried to make a game of it in that second half, but it was just a bit too little, too late. It has been a better season than I predicted for them, so I'll give them that. They've shown a bit more fight than the wooden spoon trajectory I put them on. But at least I don't have to watch any more of their games this year.
Yeah.
So that's player to stand out, mate.
Cleary.
I went with Cleary too.
Specialist this time of year.
Hopefully, he's used up all his talent, and he has a shocker this week. It'll be really nice.
Yeah, would.
Next game on Saturday, Titans defeating the Tigers 36-28.
Yeah, this one pissed me off because it ruined one of my predictions. I was in the box seat, mate. Yeah, obviously I tipped Titans to pick up wooden spoon, so I'm a bit salty about this one. But it was 6 tries to 5 for the Titans. AJ Brimson had 2, Brian Kelly had 2, Jaden Campbell and Bo Fermor. For the Tigers, Jareen Buller, Makasini, Royce Hunt had 2, and Latufanu.
Yeah, well, Titans needed a win and they delivered, avoiding that spoon, which is all they would probably care about at this time of year. Typical Titans performance, though, some great attacking phases and very little defense. Although they did keep the Tigers scoreless in the second half, which is a step in the right direction. Plenty still to work on for them, and Josh Hanna's got a hell of a job to do, but at least they sent Des out on a win, which I think is nice for them to do. Your thoughts on the Titans?
You said it best, Brad. It's a bit of a typical Titans game. It's a roller coaster. They capable of blinding attack, which they produced. Took them a while to wake up and produce it. They were down 28-12 at halftime. I don't know what happened at halftime. They did flick a switch, produced the massive comeback, and avoided the spoon. I thought Brimson was really dangerous out there out in the centres on the left side, and yeah, all the danger men, obviously Jaden Campbell, perfect off the tee as well. So good for them to pick up the win and send Desi out, as you said, Brad, and avoid the spoon.
Yeah, and your thoughts on the Tigers?
Oh, they'll find that a disappointing way to go out. They definitely should have closed that game out. They had it in full control, especially when Royce Hunt went over twice in a row before. Wow. And then finally went over right before, all right, on halftime as well. You thought, yeah, they might go on with it, but yeah, I don't know if they just got complacent at that point, but yeah, it's just one that got away. So, still, definitely, this year's been a step in the right direction for them either way. From where they've come from. So, not the result they want, but hopefully they can build on this year, next year.
Yeah, I kind of said the same. Disappointing from the Tigers here. I expected them to put the Titans to the sword, and it looked like it was heading that way after the first half. But after that break, they came out and couldn't put anything together and just let the Titans take over. Crap way for their season to end, but I still stand by that. They've shown a lot of improvement this year, and they just need to keep pushing forward. They didn't end the year they wanted, but they didn't get yet another spoon. So that I'm sure they'll take. And it's not like they just missed the spoon either. They got a little bit above it. So I think they're building nicely. So we'll see what happens. Your player to stand out.
I went AJ Brimson. I kind of already spoke about him, but yeah, I just thought he looked really deadly. He looked so fast, and he made several line breaks and a couple of tries. So
yeah, I went with Jaden Campbell for kind of the same thing, except for the couple of tries. I think he was real sharp out there and showing what he could do. So thought it was another great game out of him. We'll move to the final game on Saturday. Sharks defeating the Bulldogs 24-6.
It was 4-1 for the Sharkies. Billy Burns, Jesse Ramey, Blake Brayley, and Daniel Atkinson. For the Doggies, only the one try, Inari Tuala.
Yeah, statement performance from the Sharks here. It wasn't pretty, but win over a top four side isn't common for this outfit. So they'll take the win and the confidence from it into the first week of finals. They'll need it for who they have to play. Still need to work a lot on their defensive structure and need their spine to deliver every match, not just when things are going their way. They are a very they love playing downhill, mate. But yeah, a good confidence booster. I thought it definitely went the way I didn't expect it to. But yeah, your thoughts on the Sharks?
You're right. They do like playing downhill, but it was definitely downhill for the majority of this one. I thought they played almost perfect footy. They completed at 95%, so they had the better of the Doggies in terms of accuracy with the ball, and they made more of their chances too with 4-1. So against the top four team, like you said, Brad, that's a nice confidence builder. I don't know. It's finals footy now, so it's elimination time. Good for them that Nico Hines avoided suspension. That they're going to need him, and they're going to need this kind of performance again. They're going to need to back this one up with another one if they want to make it another week further.
Yeah. And your thoughts on the Doggies?
Yeah, I don't know where I sit on them. I kind of put them in a similar category with the Storm. They've been traveling so well this year, but they've had a couple of worrying performances heading in towards finals, and they don't look full of confidence. And now they have to meet each other in the finals, so that's what makes that one so interesting. But they just weren't at the races in this one. They picked up a couple of injuries as well, which might not bode well. But they're a well-coached team, so that at least they go into the finals with a life up their sleeve. But they're going to want to turn around their form pretty quickly if they're any chance.
Yeah. It was a horror night for the doggies. They elected not to rest their players and paid the price a bit, with multiple players getting heavy knocks. And just never looked in the contest, with no direction, no respect for the ball, and no communication on defense. As you said, they have that second life in finals, and after this performance, it looks like they're going to need it. As Jago said, dogs lacking muscle in the middle forwards. Yeah, that was always the concern before the season started. Was their forward pack needed a bit of help, which is why you're seeing the signings that are coming next year. I still point back to, as much as he may be a better player attacking wise, I feel like it all kind of went downhill when they brought Mr. Galvin in and disrupted everything.
Yeah, does feel that way, right?
Yeah, but to be honest, I can see their point of view. If they're preparing for the future, it's a good idea, and you probably didn't need to get him straight away. But if they're in a situation in this final series where they need someone to do something with X Factor to get them the win, you're more likely going to get it out of him than you are out of Sexton. But yeah, I don't think anyone expected them to be winning the premiership this year, right? So I think it's a bit like the Warriors of 23, where they got to a position no one expected. You're hoping for the best, but you're hoping that this is going to build for 2026. Get better. So yeah, I don't think they're going to go.
I wouldn't have written them off as a premiership threat prior to them bringing Galvin in.
Yeah,
looking unreal until that point. Yeah, I mean
that is true.
Build for the future, but you had a real opportunity this year. That's the weird thing.
Yeah, but the guys that made that decision just got a massive pay rise and extension. So what do we know? Your player to stand out in this match.
Nico.
Yeah, I went with Nico too. It seems to be the default whenever these guys win. But he looked really confident out there. Yeah. Now these ones will probably take more time to say the try scorers than actually going over them. But Sunday was the fun day. Dolphins defeating the Raiders 62-24.
100%, mate. There's definitely going to be more try scorers than things to say on these games. 11 tries to 4 for the Dolphins. Tavita Naufahu, he had a day out actually. What did he get? 2. Oren Keeley, Jake Averillo, Hammer had 3. Ray Stone, Marky Nichols, Jermaine Isako, and Jake Averillo. For the Raiders, Michael Asamoah, Noah Martin, and Joe Roddy had 2. Who are all of those names?
Succession. Yeah,
that's exactly why there were 62 points.
Yeah, great final hit out for the Dolphins. They were up against a reserve grade side and blew them off the park as they should. You don't want to see them play a very understrength side and just squeak out a victory. But yeah, they just tore the Raiders to shreds, with Hammer looking to be on a mission to get that leading try scorer award. I think he needed 5 in this game to get it. But yeah, only to get injured before it happened. I think he potentially could have ended up with 5 very easily if he didn't get hurt. But they'll be really disappointed though to just miss out on their first final series. But they showed that they are one of the best attacking teams in the NRL. They just need to start the season strong in 26 and not trail off at the back end of the year, as they become known for doing. You think if they got 1 or 2 wins in that beginning, month and a half of the season, it would have been a different story. But yeah, your thoughts? Yeah, your thoughts on the Dolphins?
It's just a nice way to finish the year for them. Obviously, they don't get the reward of finals footy, which is disappointing. There looked a period there during the middle of the season where they might be one of the form teams and take it through into finals. But again, I think it's just a depth thing, the same as the past 2 seasons with the Dolphins. But yeah, they've built a nice base of players there. You add a few of these injured guys back in next year, Max Plath, Flegler's coming back.
Yeah,
because he's got a real weird one. Hey, I think he's had some decent news, hopefully,
Yeah, I think he will be coming
But
back.
they've got heaps. Obviously, Herbie, they've got heaps of quality. If they just stay healthy next year, I think they could be a bit of a dark horse. But the key thing's just staying healthy.
Yeah. And your thought on the Raiders?
That's not the real Raiders, so I'm not going to judge them too harshly. You know, I mean, Ricky did the right thing. I would have done the same thing. They already had the minor premiership sewn up. They didn't need to risk any players unnecessarily. So, yeah, it's a big loss. But the funny thing is, you know, people started joking. Nobody's won a premiership after conceding 50. So, does that rule the Raiders out? No, that's not the real Raiders.
No.
I think they roll their first team out this weekend. They're going to have to be good because they got a tough game. They got one of the form teams, but I think, given what I've seen from them all year and at home, I think they'll be ready. So yeah, I don't read too much into this game for them.
Yeah, honestly, I don't have much to say about the Raiders. It was a reserve grade side, and they played like it. With all eyes on the big prize, like I said about the Panthers a few weeks ago, if the Raiders go all the way, no one's going to care about this match. That's all I really have to say. I think it was the right call. As we just talked about with the Bulldogs, you imagine if Ricky had brought everyone out and they beat the Dolphins, but they lost 3 or 4 of their players.
Yeah.
You know, that's the situation. I don't like it when they rest players, but that is the situation. You've done everything. You've earned yourself the minor premiership. You earn the right to do it. Injuries can still happen. Hell, they might lose some of their key players in the game this weekend, and then, but you'd rather lose them in a finals game than lose them the week before. So,
for sure.
Yeah, your player to stand out.
Hammer, hat-trick
Yeah,
rule.
I went with Hammer as well. It's great. Sucks for him that it ended the way it did, but yeah, I thought he was electric out there. Last game, Matt. Eels defeating the Knights 66-10.
Yeah, this was a slaughter. We speak of hat-trick rule. We've got options here, Brad.
It was real hard here.
12 tries to 2 for the Eels. Dylan Brown, Mitch Moses was one of the hat-trick scorers. Riley Smith, Matt Dory, Josh Adokar was the other hat-trick scorer. Junior Paulo, Talon De Silva, and Will Penasini. For the Knights, Jermaine McEwen and Greg Maju.
Yeah, fantastic display from the Eels here. They just couldn't stop scoring. Moses was playing the Knights like a fiddle, and everyone seemed to be on the same page. It was a very entertaining game to watch. It was one-sided, but it was entertaining to watch the Eels, that's for sure. They definitely seem to be believing in what Riles is saying as their coach, and I do expect big things out of them in 26. But yeah, hell of a way to end the season. Yeah, I can't really say much else, mate.
Yeah. Outstanding performance in this one, obviously. Like you said, Mitch Moses was pulling all the strings, scoring tries, setting them all up. He's in unbelievable form, but yeah, they've finished the season really well. If we watch back the predictions, I predicted them as a team that might surprise, but it took them so long to do it. But I think they're on the right track now. I think next year might be that year. It took them a while to adapt with the new coaching staff, obviously, and having Moses gone most of the year. But yeah, I think they'll be a lot better next year.
Yeah, and your thoughts on the Knights?
Yeah, they've been a mess most of the year, but they've just got worse as the year has gone on. At least at the start of the year, they were defending strongly, but just couldn't score points. Now they're conceding massive scores as well. So I think the way things have gone for them, they earned that wooden spoon well and truly, and now they begin their rebuild with a new coaching staff, and it's probably about time.
Yeah, shocking effort from the Knights here. Like the Titans, they needed a win to avoid the spoon and had a chance to send their coach out on a win, but they barely left the sheds. Didn't make a lot of errors, but that's because they barely had the ball. I think they had like 39% possession, as they spent most of the night under the goalposts, with their defense being woefully poor. We still don't know who their coach is, but I guess there's nowhere to go but up for them. So we'll see what happens. Player to stand out.
I knew which way you were going with your hat trick, so I went the other way. I went Adokar.
All right. God, he's been in a nice reign of form lately, which is good to see from him. They're kind of getting their money's worth out of him now. So yeah, I thought he was great. But yeah, I went with Mitch Moses. Got a hat trick. He was kind of involved in everything and was just really playing well. And as Jacko said, Moses cemented a spot on the Aussie side for sure. Yeah, I think he has to be in that team that you take to England.
He's just at the peak of his career now, eh? Especially like looking back at what he did last year in Origin as well. I think he's no longer that flaky guy. I think he's grown to be one of the elite halves now.
He's not the flat track bully I called him out on all those years ago. And I think if he didn't get injured at the beginning or at times in this year, I think there's every chance that Eels may have even squeaked into the 8, mate. You know, I'm looking at it now. They finished 11 on 26 points. They could have got a couple more wins if he was out there with them, and they could have snuck in and been in like that 8th spot potentially. It's coulda, woulda, shoulda, but that just shows potentially what could be in their future next year. So that was the round. We'll look at the ladder for one more time, mate. From next week, we'll have the road to the grand final picture. But yeah, I'll give you top 8, mate. I'll talk about the crap teams.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So these are the 8 that will move forward and contest the final series. Raiders obviously had minor premiership sewn up. Storm finished second. Bulldogs finished third, and they'll play each other this week. Broncos grabbed that 4th spot. Sharks into 5th. Warriors 6th. Panthers 7th, and Roosters grabbed that 8th spot and that last finals berth.
Yeah, and then Dolphins and Seagulls stayed 9-10. Eels moved up to 11. Cowboys moved up to 12. Tigers moved down to 13. Rabbits down to 14. Dragons stayed where they were at 15. Titans moved up to 16 because of points differential, and Knights stayed down the bottom. So yeah, that's it for the ladder. Not much to say.
Points differential, eh?
Yeah, that little plus 21. Exactly the same as Manly, mate.
How many tight wins have we had?
Yeah,
a lot of tight wins.
Yeah, it just is what it is. We'll go to fantasy now if I remember how to do it.
You don't have to.
Geez, look at my mouse all over the place, mate. So you got 705, mate. You fell apart.
Yeah, I did. You had a wonderful round though.
My second best round of the year. As I was telling you, I got knocked out of my out in the Prem final last week. I got better than the guy who won it. So I would have won if I had got through. It's just because of Nathan Cleary and that deciding to have the week off, Matt, last week. Screwed me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got 1,089, thanks in part to I had Aaron Clark, he is there. I picked the wrong screenshot. Or I didn't load it probably because he's only on 43. He got 101. But yeah, I got a couple of hundreds in there. So I've got the wrong picture there. But yeah, all my guys played really well. It was a fantastic game. But yeah, thankfully it's over. No more stressing. We'll go to the tipping comp. I looked, anyone that's still in, you can still enter tips. So it's obviously going into finals. So I've entered my tips today. Yeah, so it's still going. But of the regular season, Bjorn, I don't know if he's here tonight with us, but Bjorn won by 1. He got 150 and the Urk on 149. NB Sportsman third on 148, Evelyn fourth, Simon, you're fifth, Princess Cahill sixth, ACT Hellcat seventh, the boy from SNB eight. I fell out of the top 8 in the last round, mate.
We all missed
Shocker with
the 8,
only,
man.
yeah.
What is going on?
I'm ninth. Your son's 10th after being so dominant early on. Roscoe is 11th. You're down to 12th. Then Harry Poppins, Michael Pazzuto, and Hammer 13, 14, 15. But yeah, if you haven't entered your
I'm
tips,
spewing with that effort.
yeah,
I'm spewing
enter your
with
tips. Mac only got 4. I got 5. Most people got 5 or 7.
Yeah.
So disappointed. 8 was 143. I ended up on 143 as well. So it's just my points differential keeping me out of the 8. Bastard. Disappointing. But yeah, it is what it is. Unfortunately. But yeah, if you're still playing, remember to enter your tips because it looks like we can tip the finals. So I'll see what happens on the tables at the end of the round and see if it just restarts or if it's just adding. I don't know. We've answered everyone else's questions, but give me your question, Matt.
So I hinted at it earlier, but Jerome Hughes going down on the eve of the finals. Do you think Melbourne have any chance whatsoever of going on to win the premiership without him? Do you think? And I give you a bonus question: do you think it was the right move for Craig Bellamy to bring him back in that game?
I think it was the right move. Hindsight's a cruel bitch. You know, I would have wanted him to get a run under his belt before the pressure of finals footy. He's the kind of player that you could probably just chuck straight in to finals footy and be fine. But I think getting a run under his belt would have been the way to go. Do I think they can win with it? I think they still can. They're a quality side. It'll be tougher, but I think they still could do it. It all depends who they have to play along the way. You know, if they make it all the way to the grand final and they're playing like Panthers, let's say, or like the Broncos again, I might say no. But you just never know. They're a good team without them. It'll just be tougher. But yes, I think they could still win a premiership if he's not out there. What about you?
They really missed Harry Grant in that game on the weekend too. Hey,
yeah, I think it's Harry Grant's more integral. I think, you know, Wishart ain't no Hughes, but Harry Grant, I think, kind of
he's still decent.
Yeah, and Harry Grant kind of fits everything together. But yeah. So do you think they could win without Hughes?
Yeah, they can, but I don't. I think they lose a lot of edge without him. When that spine is all together, they operate so well. You know, it doesn't take, even if one of them's off, they've just the other one steps up. And Wishart can still do a role there, and they've. You know, if Munster steps up in any given game, they can win. Ali Katoa, he's been massive for them all year. Across the park, they've got weapons, but Hughes is pretty important.
Yeah, and Jacko asked how long's Pep's out. He's only out this week. It was just a failed IHA. Yeah, he'll be back the week after. My question to you, which team that missed finals this year do you think is going to have the biggest improvement in 2026?
I thought we kind of already just hinted at it, but for me, it might be the Eels. I thought, like I said, I thought this year they might surprise a few, but it feels like that they're building nicely into next year, and that next year might be the year that they do surprise a few. So I can really see them improving just with another year of Jason Ryles at the helm. You know, another preseason under the belt under him, and I think if they keep their main players on the field, they've got all the ingredients there. The back three is really nice with Iongi's probably one of the more promising rookies we've had this year. With Adokar and Lomax out wide, it's pretty deadly. So I think
I
for
had
me,
them too.
it's them. Yeah.
Yeah, I had them too. If we hadn't had already, if Riles had stuck with Dylan Brown in the halves for the remainder of the year, I may have had some question marks on like how will they go without Dylan Brown. But he, tried that experiment early where we got to see what they looked like without Brown, and they looked fine. So I think it's them or the Dolphins, to be frank. I think. But yeah, I think I've got more faith in the Eels being able to do something than the Dolphins, because the Dolphins still have that habit of fading in the season, which we haven't seen them not do yet. So I'm going to go into the season expecting them to continue that. Jagger said Eels will be big improvers, but Tigers could surprise. Yeah, hell,
That's true.
I think Tigers will be a shout to be a finals team next year as well. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. But how most of the teams I picked to make the 8 this year didn't. So what do I know? We'll see. But yeah, that was it for the questions, unless people start rattling off some more, which we can go through. But we'll go into the first week of finals, Matt. As always, we'll start with talking about the Warriors team playing the Panthers on Saturday at Go Media Stadium. I'll be there. I don't know if that's good for us with how the last few home games have gone with me there, but
you're in a different seat.
Yeah. Last finals game I sat in the East End, we won. Last finals game I sat in the West End, we lost. So yeah, not that we had that many to go to. It was the Eels game, mate, where Logan Swan ruined his legacy.
But I was telling Mac about that game last night, and I showed him the YouTube clip, and Mac wasn't even born when that game was played, but now he hates Logan Swan as well.
I'm trying to get it into everyone. I want everyone to hate him. But yeah, give us the Warriors team, mate.
Okay, fullback Chance Nickel-Klustad, Dallin Watini-Zelezniak, and Roger Tuivasa-Sheck on the wings. Adam Pompey, Kurt Capewell in the centres. He's gone for the Capewell selection. We probably would have predicted that, right, Brad?
Yeah.
Harris Tavita, Tanner Boyd in the halves. Front row, Fisher Harris, Jackson Ford returns from suspension, and Wade Egan, hooker. Back row, Leka Halasima, Marata Niokore, and lock, Aaron Clark. Interchange, Tamaiti Martin, Eddie Edemia Toyava, Dimitri Faimonga, and Tanner Smith.
Yeah, and Jacko said disappointed Healy's not on the bench at least. Yeah, in my review, I obviously I preview what's coming up and I say who I would pick, and I said he had to be in the 17. So I know it didn't work as well as we would have liked, but I did the Tuapiki to fullback, Chance to centre, and then I had Healy on the bench, because then I was like, Tamati we don't need, because you don't need him to cover an outside back position, because we've got Chance there. Capewell can move out there if need be, and then you can just have a straight hooker on the bench. But I had him, I felt like he was going to take the safe option, which is what Webby's known for, and how making the finals 2 out of 3 years for a reason, I guess. I want that spark from Healy on the bench. Might still happen. We might see changes before Saturday. I don't know. But I feel like he's gone for what he trusts, which I guess is all you can ask for from Webby when he's going into the finals against a team like the Panthers. He's going to go with the people he personally backs. We might disagree with some of them, but I just want them to put a hell of an effort in. Get the win, be amazing. But if they lose, but they go down respectfully, go down swinging and not getting pantsed, I'll be happy enough with. That's a defeatist attitude. I'm still open for the win. But yeah, we don't want to see them get, 40, 50 points put on them at home in the finals game. So yeah, I've still, as we talked before we went on here, I'm still, there's there's times where I'm like, no, we can do this, and then there's times where I'm like, oh no, what the hell are we in for? And yeah, Jacko said Healy offers a point of difference, which will be needed. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Especially when you look, they've got Luke Summerton, who is just, I forgot to add in the news, he's just been told that they don't want him next year. He's not getting an extension, and they got Schneider on the bench. So they don't really have a hooker replacement. So I think having the two would have been a potential edge over the Panthers. So, but I'm not a coach, so I don't want to sit here and say he's made the wrong decision, but he's made the wrong decision, mate. And yeah, hopefully we see a change there, because I think Healy would provide a better impact off the bench than Tamati Martin, who I love. I think Tamati's been great this year, but I'd rather have Sam come on to replace Egan at hooker than Tamati come on and replace Egan at hooker. Tamati being 14 has basically been there to cover outside back injuries, which you shouldn't be doing in a finals match. But yeah, it is what it is. We'll go down the Panthers.
I think Sam earned that right?
Yeah, he's done nothing wrong in his time in there. He did show that he was getting a bit gassed, but that's why he can be an interchange hooker, mate. Throw him out there for a 20-minute spell and run some of those forwards ragged. I'm getting frustrated. It just seems like the right call. It seems like everyone by Webby has said the same thing. So I don't know. But Panthers teammate, Dylan Edwards at fullback. A change that Paul Alamotti has kept the wing spot over Thomas Jenkins, who's been there consistent all year, and he's been dropped. Brian Torwell on the other wing. Jacko said Jacko was back, so all as well. Yeah, as long as he doesn't do penalties. Then centres, we've got Isaac Targo and Casey McLean. Haas, we've got Blaze Talangi, Nathan Cleary. Front row, Moses Leota, Luke Summerton, Lindsay Smith. Second row, we've got Scott Sorensen, Liam Martin. And then Isaiah Yeo at lock. Interchange, Brad Schneider, Liam Henry, Isaiah Papali'i, and Luke Gardner. So not the strongest team they've had, but still a hell of a team.
No, still a good team.
Yeah. I'm more intimidated if Mitch Kenny was there. Seeing Luke Summerton gives me a little bit more hope. I am going with head, not heart, though, and I am picking the Panthers. I think they should get the win, but if there's any team that's going to be the team everyone shits on because they got rid of the Panthers in the middle of their story, it would be the Warriors, mate. It'll be like when they beat the Storm and all those other stories we've talked about. So I'm hoping for a miracle, mate. I think it would be a hell of an experience to jump there and watch them win. But who are you picking in this one?
Unfortunately, Panthers. Little bit same as you. When I look down their lineup, it's got a couple missing. They've got Summerton at hooker. They may not. They don't have a Luai or a Fisher Harris anymore.
Yeah,
but I think Blaze is really built into the year. That lineup is still full of grand final wins and Origin experience. So it's a tough assignment. There's no sugarcoating it. Are we capable? We're definitely capable. We beat them at Magic Round last year with way less lineup than what we're running out with this weekend. But by the same token, they came here this year with a baby lineup and put it past us. So
and
we just need to start well and get the crowd behind us.
Yeah, if they come in with the same kind of form they've had the past month, they're in trouble. That's the issue I have. But yeah, we'll go to the finals now. See if I can. I zoomed in a bit. Getting better. First game on Friday, mate. We have the Storm and Doggies. Who did you go with? You don't know. Did you flip a coin?
Storm, mate. Home, Amy Park. they've just dropped 2 in a row. Both teams are down on troops, so surely they don't drop 3 in a row.
Yeah, I've gone Storm
But
as well.
They might, though. They very well might drop 3 in a row.
I was going doggies until some of those injuries came in. And then, yeah, I think Storm at home will get it. Bulldogs, maybe the pressure of finals may get them a little bit. I don't know. Maybe in the back of their mind, a bit like the Warriors in 23, where even if you lose, you get another shot, and we got annihilated by the Panthers. Yeah, it could be like that. So I've gone Storm. Next game is Warriors Panthers. We both went Panthers. Jacko said we need to complete around 90% and pressure Edwards on whenever possible to have a chance. Yeah, and Edwards hasn't really been playing his best footy either, so hopefully they can target him.
He's had some errors in him.
Yeah, and he also said Storm, no way they lose 3 in a row. Yeah, I think if it was the other way, if it was in Sydney, maybe I would have gone the other way. But yeah, I'm going with them. Next game on Saturday, Sharks Roosters. I've got Roosters.
I'm going Roosters too. I think they might have too much firepower.
Yeah, that's nothing against the Sharks. Hell, if it was Roosters Panthers in this game, I would have picked the Roosters as well. I think they've been in a hell of a run of form. So yeah, Roosters for me. And then the final game, Raiders Broncos. I've gone Raiders. I changed this. I was all in on Broncos at the beginning today. I changed my mind. I think Raiders at home. I think they're going to do it. Well rested. I feel like we've had a lot of good form of Walsh, so I'm feeling a bad game from Walsh is just around the corner.
I went Raiders too, and that's what I'm wondering, whether Walsh is due one of those games.
Yeah,
he's rocks and diamonds kind of player, but he's been a lot of diamonds lately. I'm waiting for some rocks.
Yeah. So and yeah, I think it's at home again. I think at home it's been tough to beat the Raiders at home this year. So I'm feeling the same here. And yeah, Jack said Chookies, Sharkies are flat track bullies. Yeah, they are. Yeah, and the Roosters. I'd say out of every team that's in this 8, I think the Roosters are probably arguably the best attacking side right now. So I feel like they got plenty of points to give. But yeah, it should be a cracker. We should hopefully, as long as the Warriors have a decent performance, we should have an okay show next week, mate. Paul will be happy. There's only 4 games to talk about, so it should only take an hour, which will keep Paul happy. But anything else you want to add before we go? Oh, Jacko said he's picking Broncos. Walsh playing out of his skin. Yeah, and that could happen too. He could put on another Walsh show and easily take that game. Wouldn't
surprise me.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me either. But yeah, anything else you want to add before we let everyone go?
No, just everyone chuck their support behind the boys. Let's hope for one more. Let's hope for another week.
Yeah, and if you're going to Dare to Dream, if you are going to the game and you see me around, come say hi. I'm sitting in Bay 28 right up the front. So that's like 2 over from the Warriors tunnel right up the front. But yeah, I'm not sure how many people were going or not. But if you're not, hopefully you get a good game to watch at home. And don't switch over to the ABs. Watch that shit on replay. But yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight on the Stand Off with Brad and Richie for your weekly update on rugby league. Tune into our show next Wednesday at 8 p.m. here on Facebook or YouTube or at your convenience on iHeartRadio or Spotify. Just remember to search for New Zealand Sport Radio. Cheers again for jumping on with me, Richie, and good night, everyone.
Cheers.